Welcome to Two Chicks and a Horror Flick, a weekly horror movie review podcast. I'm Tawny Ray.
And I'm Felicia Connor. Subscribe to get new episodes every Wednesday. We dive into trivia, drink a little whiskey, and of course, give our no BS opinions.
Join our Discord server or message us on social media to talk all things scary.
And if you like the show, consider supporting us on Patreon.
You can find all these links on our website, twochicksandahorrorflick.com. Thanks for listening.
Now let's get scared. Hello. Welcome back. We're super excited. And if you're watching on YouTube, me and Tawny look very proper with our sweaters.
We do. Yes. It's very cold. I mean, I don't know. Probably not for you, but for me.
It's like 40 here.
Oh, shut
cold.
up.
It's not snow cold.
It snowed like fucking 4 inches yesterday or something. Like it was like blizzard conditions for 2 hours.
Okay, well, it's really cold. But for us, when we have 120 heat, 40 is cold.
Comparatively.
Oh, awesome. All right, everybody. We're watching The Witch. This was my pick. I'm so excited to watch. Well, I did. I watched it already. And I was really excited to. I've been wanting to watch it for a very long time. So we did. But before we get into all of that, Tawny, what are you drinking?
Today, I'm drinking another just very cheap and easy old fashioned, which is just whiskey mixed with a little bit of cherry juice.
Is it like the juice from the maraschino cherry jar?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. At least it's that. At least it's not, I don't know. I know what other cherry juice.
What else would be worse
like
than
a cherry soda? Or I don't know. No, that would not be bad. But
we should probably name this. I bet it has a name already. This is the Thorn.
The Thorn. I love it. I love it. Maybe one day in a bar, here's me. I got to go next level. Two Chicks and a Horror Flick will be so famous that a bar will create the Thorn.
The Thorn. I hope you make it better than me. So this is.
But it can't be an old fashioned though. So it has to be, because that's taken.
I'm just lazy, which is why I named it after myself. What are you drinking?
I am back in business. I do have water, but I'm also drinking whiskey neat.
Oh, nice.
This fancy, cute little glass. It's a new glass.
Yes, it's all squatty.
Yeah, it's like it's a little squatty body glass. I believe he listens to our podcast, but my husband, his name is Chester from my husband's cigar group. I think it's called the Cigar Herf, sent him these glasses. And the whiskey I'm drinking, I've drank before. It's absolutely one of our favorites is Smoke Wagon.
Oh, right. I remember you talking about that one.
Yeah. Love Smoke Wagon. And yeah.
I should look for that one because I swear to, I'm just like definitely a creature of habit and they keep being out of Buffalo Trace. So now my second go-to is Four Roses.
It's a good one.
Which is also good.
Yeah, Four Roses is good. It is really good. I liked Four Roses. I mean, Buffalo Trace, Maker's Mark. Those are like all of our Maker's Mark, like in mixed drinks is good.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've had Maker's, but I didn't like it at the time. But that was like years and years ago before I had a taste for whiskey. So I might like it now.
I wonder if you'd like this, because even when you smell it, it has this little bit of sweetness to it. It's really good. And I love Buffalo Trace. So maybe you'd like that too.
I want some more Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace, I feel like I can drink straight easier.
Mm-hmm.
But Four Roses, I kind of need to dilute a little bit. That's why I put some cherry juice in here.
Nice. So what have you been watching or listening to or reading?
Mostly, again, I've just been reading. I can't remember where I was the last time I updated you guys. I'm now on book 4 of the Court of Thorn and Roses.
Oh, shoot.
Series.
Okay. It wasn't that you had just finished 2, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
So I finished 3 books. Now I'm like 75% of the way through book 4. I think I might not finish it.
Because you're not digging it? Or
Yeah. It's like really, at this point now, I feel like it's a slog a little bit. So I feel like I'm slowing down, but I did set a goal of 3 books per month for the entire year of 2022. So that's 36 books total. So I've already hit my goal for January.
Nice.
So like, I don't need to finish it, but I can feel myself slowing down on the reading. Like I'm starting to be like, okay, nothing's really grabbing my attention. I don't know, the book I'm reading now, I'm less, interested in. So I'm hoping that there's going to be something that comes up TV wise, which maybe my prayers might be answered by Archive 81, which is a new Netflix. Have you seen any of this, Felicia?
I don't think so.
Okay. It's like a horror thrillery type of show. We've only watched the first episode, but it seems okay. So I'll reserve my judgment until we watch more, but that's really it for me. What about you? What have you been watching, reading?
No, that's good. God, you guys, I watched Encanto again. Now we've up-leveled Encanto to where every morning I drive my daughter to school. We have 4 songs I have to rehearse. She's given me parts. And we are practicing so we could perform them for my husband.
Okay.
Yeah. But we did watch, Fear City, the mob versus New York. That's a documentary on Netflix. I believe it is on Netflix. And that's really interesting about the mob in New York and back in the day. And so that was cool. But it's so hard because when I sit down and any of the kids go, Mom, you can watch whatever you want. No, don't tease me like that. Because everything I want to watch is just really not appropriate. Even the documentaries I want to watch the guy who had multiple personalities and was convicted of, crimes, but then almost got away with it because he had multiple personalities, or was he pretending to have them? I don't know, because I can't watch it. So, but I did watch The Witch twice. So there's that. I'm still reading The Hunger and The Sweetness of Water, but what I've decided to do my goal is at 2 books a month, but I'm averaging about 1. Yeah. Right now. The Sweetness of Water is the one I decided to focus on so I could actually finish. And I love it. And just like you were saying, the beginning has to catch you, right? So you want to keep reading. But when you're in the middle, like right now, I've hit the exact middle. I'm 52% through. And now I feel like I'm at the top of the roller coaster headed down. And I'm just like, I just can't. I stayed up so late last night. I don't have, my little one was sleeping with me and I don't have a light by my bed. I literally had a flashlight on my chest pointing at the book so I could read it. I love that book by Nathan Harris. It's just phenomenal. I was crying. I love the characters. It's just really great.
What is it? Like what genre?
Literary fiction or historical fiction, I would say. Okay. Historical fiction, probably, because it takes place right after slaves became freemen, and free in quotations, right? Because they didn't have anywhere to go. And there was like a whole bunch of it, but it's about this family, and that's the time it takes place. So I'm guessing that would fall into historical fiction because of that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Really great.
It's so fun to be sucked in like that. Yes. Where you're like, I can't go to sleep. I need to just keep reading. Yeah.
So many books, because this book beautifully and brilliantly, every book has a little bit of a lull while they're explaining stuff. But in this book, it's never long. It's like as soon as I feel like, I'm kind of done with this explanation, it's done. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't have to muscle through anything. And I love that. And I appreciate that.
That's nice. Yeah.
But that's really about it. It's my life is Encanto and The Sweetness of Water.
Yeah. Encanto, singing parts, prepping for your new, your, what's it called?
My performance. Literally, we get in the car and she'll be like, all right, Mom, you're up. Your song, you're up. Yeah. Go ahead. And then she's looking at me like, okay, all right. Ooh, you messed up.
A little off key.
Off. She does. She looks at me. She's like, ooh, Mom, you messed up on that part. And then she'll look at me and she'll be like, it's okay. It's okay. And I'm like, okay. I'm not the voice for Maribel.
That is fucking funny. I love it.
It's fun. It is fun though, All right. What else? Nothing?
So we've had boring weeks, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Been
Just
busy.
quiet, busy, work,
Yeah. Yep.
reading.
Work. So much work.
Yeah, that's about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
We can always bring it up later as a tangent if we think of something. Let's go ahead and talk about The Witch.
Okay.
All right. The Witch, 2015. I watched it on Amazon Prime. There's probably some other places. I think you could get it on Hulu if you signed up for Showtime.
Yeah.
But free if you signed up for Showtime, which is like $14 a month. But anyway, the director was Robert Eggers. The budget reported on Wikipedia was $4 million and the box office was $40.4 million.
10 times.
Yes. We have quite a variance in scores and likability. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 90%. IMDb has it at a 6.9 and Letterboxd has 3.9.
Okay.
It was filmed in Canada. I just wanted to know. So I looked it up.
Okay.
Let's see the cast. Anya Taylor-Joy as Thomason, Ralph Ineson as William, the dad, Katie Dickey as Catherine, the mom, Henry Scrimshaw as Caleb, the little brother, Ellie Granger. Yeah, Ellie Granger is Mercy. Lucas Dawson is Jonas. So those two are the twins. Bathsheba Garnett was the older witch. The older. Like I didn't want to offend her. I didn't want to say the old witch. And Sarah Stevens was the young witch. All right. Maybe I felt like I was missing something. Nope. Now it's time for 2 minutes with Tawny. Lights, action.
Here we go. Okay. A family of English settlers get kicked off a plantation for preaching or something. I'm not 100% sure. Everyone's really hard to understand in this movie. This family is definitely in the fire and brimstone camp, though, and are obsessed with how big of sinners they all are. They go off on their own into the wilds of America, but baby Samuel disappears right under the eldest sibling, Thomason's, nose. We see a hooded figure make off with the baby in the woods, then get a gruesome few shots showing that she killed the baby and smeared his blood all over her body. Catherine, the mother, is understandably beside herself. Tensions rise in the household, and Thomason tells the youngest two siblings, Mercy and Jonas, that she herself is the witch of the wood and gave Sam to the devil. With their crops rotting, William, the father, sets a trap in the woods to catch something to eat. Thomason and Caleb set off to check the trap and get separated from each other when a rabbit scares the horse and the dog that they're with. Thomason finds her way back home, but Caleb unfortunately finds his way to a real witch in the wood. At nightfall, Caleb returns to their cabin and is not looking good. Caleb throws up an apple and gives a super creepy monologue before he straight up stops breathing. At this point, everyone starts pointing the finger at each other, accusing each other of being witches. William locks the 3 remaining kids in the barn overnight. I didn't know what to call this. It's not really a barn, but I'm going to call it a barn. It's like a little tiny shack where the animals live. At nightfall, evil creeps in. Catherine has a vision of Caleb and Sam and breastfeeds Sam, who turns out to be a crow that pecks her nipple until it bleeds. Pecks her nipple off? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know if she has it still or not.
The mystery. The kids in the barn see a witch feeding on one of the goats. In the morning, William is gored by Black Phillip, the other goat, and dies under an avalanche of logs. Catherine wakes up and blames Thomason for all of this and begins to choke her. Thomason has to kill her in self-defense. That night, with Thomason as the only one left, joins Black Phillip in the barn, who is obviously the devil, and offers her a delicious life in exchange for her signature in his book. She sheds her dress and walks into the woods where other witches are dancing around a fire. They begin to float, and Thomason begins floating too while laughing. The end. Hope you watched this movie. Spoilers. Way too late.
We should have added that in our intro
Well, I
because
know.
we never remember that shit.
But I feel like if you're coming to the fucking episode, you should have already watched the movie. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah, the devil / maybe hot Zorro / cowboy.
Yeah. Yep. What was happening there? Jade was like, black cowboy boots. I was like, were they black cowboy boots? I mean, I definitely noticed the spurs.
Yeah.
Right?
They were black cowboy boots.
Yeah.
Huh. All right.
That's a choice.
So, Tawny, how did you feel about this movie?
I'm so fucking conflicted about this, dude. Honestly, this is probably like the third or fourth time I watched this movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like for the first time in my life, I actually got it. I felt like I was watching it and I was like, I fucking get it. This is a great, great, great movie. But still, I don't love it. I like it a lot and I respect it as a movie. And I think there was like really awesome things happening. And we'll get to this more as we like get into our dissection of it. But I think there's like some things that just personally for me, I wanted the movie to do that like it didn't do. And so I don't know, it just doesn't end up being like one of my faves. But I can recognize like how fucking masterfully this movie was done. And I think up until now, I've always said that I don't understand the hype. I mean, I understand the hype, but I didn't like agree with it. Like I felt like, oh, it's overblown for me. And I still agree with that to some degree, but it's an amazing movie. I cannot deny. So there's so much good in it. The acting is phenomenal. The sound design is great. The cast, is just next level. I love like the set and the setting and the choices that were made. So I don't know. That's kind of where I land. Is I'm a little conflicted. It's great. For me personally, it's just missing something. I don't know. How did you feel?
So I really liked it. And I'm hoping through our conversation, I'll discover how much did I really like it? Like, did I like it more than Caveat or not? Or because I really, I agree with everything that you said. I loved my favorite thing was the set, the visuals. God, it was just so beautiful. I just really like that dark and gloomy look.
Okay.
Caveat had the same thing. Just this ominous sort of look about the movie. It was just beautiful. And then different things like when she was walking into the woods at the end and you could still see a glimmer of her body in the black darkness. It was just like so much was so beautiful. That goat, just everything. The acting was phenomenal. I really liked the story because it was about witches and really hardcore, Christian
people?
Puritans. Yeah, yes. All of that. I loved it. I really, really liked this movie. The first time I watched it, so I watched it a second time purely because, and it's so crazy. When I watched it the first time, I did. Our friends from a podcast on Elm Street said, watch it with subtitles. And thank God I did. I would have no idea what they were saying.
You can't not, dude. You can't, it's impossible. So
the first time I was reading the whole thing. And then when I watched it the second time, it was crazy. I had no subtitles. I understood everything. It was so clear. Because I had read the subtitles to what they were saying, when I watched it the second time, no subtitles, sounded so crystal clear. Everything they were saying, it was crazy. It's just a side note. Because when I first watched it, I was like, whoa, thank God I have subtitles. I would absolutely have no fucking idea. So if you guys haven't seen it, watch it with subtitles and then watch it again if you liked it, because then you can actually look at it
I've never been able to watch it without subtitles.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just have to because I'm going to give it the second movie in a row that I feel a little bit dumb for not like understanding. This is like my fourth watch. And I finally was like, I think I get it. And I was drunk too. I think that made a difference. I was like, I had a couple drinks and I was like, I turned to Jade and I'm like, I'm getting this movie. Do you think it's because I'm drunk? Like, what's happening?
I love it. I loved the twist of a lot of these movies where you have these like hellfire and brimstone Christians, or not even that. So if it's about witches, like the Salem witch trials or anything like that, these people aren't witches. They're not witches, and they're being, so it had that whole element in it. So it echoed Salem witch trials and things like that. But there are some real fucking witches. So everything, all those different folk tales and lore around witches that caused people to be so terrified and killing each other and accusing each other of being witches is actually true in this movie. So that, I liked that twist. That was pretty cool.
Interesting. This is what I think I don't like about this movie, is because I feel like I just put this together today. I've been thinking about this nonstop, and I think like I want it to be that, because I feel like for the first part of the movie, there's this whole setup of like, yeah, like there's these, I don't know, this is probably an extreme word, but these are like religious zealots. Like they get kicked out of wherever they were because like people couldn't deal with them, like, so I like the idea of the movie being about that and how that can be harmful. But all the stuff that they were worried about was real. And so I feel like it undercuts that message. And it's like, I personally, just from a personal standpoint, want that movie to be about the other thing, but it's not. It's about how there is this evil that does exist. And I think that's my hang up with the movie. I don't think it's a bad choice that they made, actually, because like you're saying, it is kind of a twist because it's different from other movies. Normally, you kind of would expect it to take that route, and it doesn't. And I think it does a really good job at doing it. Just, it's like a personal preference thing, like.
But but if you think about it, it was still about religion, because the leader of these witches was Satan. And it, inside of the movie, something I really liked was this battle of almost good and evil, or God and the devil, because you have just one of the first scenes. It's not one of the first scenes, the last scene, but one that pops into my mind is all of this is happening. His two children have died. He locked the other ones up in this shack of a barn, whatever that they're all locked up in. And he drops to his knees and he's like, God, forgive me. It's my fault. It's because I'm prideful. It's all my fault. And that's when, and this happens several times, where you start to see the light. Okay, he doesn't see his kids as evil witches. He's starting to see the light of his pride brought him here. His pride kept his family here as they're dying one by one.
Right.
It's his fault. Please save us all. And then but then he goes to bed, and the next morning, so the witch and Satan, or the evil, fucks all that up, because he takes the kids, probably kills them, kills all those goats, leaves Thomas in there. So when the dad comes out, he's like, it isn't my fault. It's you. You're a fucking witch, because look. So it's like this fight of good and evil, where they are turning to God and saying, have mercy on me. I'm sorry. But then evil, Satan, the witches come in and fuck all that up to bring them back to believing, no, to pitting against each other.
Yeah.
Which takes them away from God, because they're pitting against each other and killing each other and being abusive. So there's like this huge battle back and forth throughout the whole thing.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So it's like, it does kind of end up taking that turn. Yeah.
But even earlier, because if the mom is constantly like, there's something evil here. This is not good. This is not good. And they're like, no, we caught the little animal in the thing. Okay, we have food. Maybe this will be better. Nope, you're going to go to the witch's thing and get your mouth bit and all of that. And so it's like this constant back and forth. And Thomason, you're the witch. No, the kids are the witch. No, they're all bewitched. No, it's just like,
yeah,
this constant.
I really like that part. I think this is one of the parts that I really like, is the accusing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love this dynamic, because first of all, we're jumping all the fuck over the place. I hope this is making sense to everybody.
Watch the movie
listening.
and it'll make sense.
But I love the part where Mercy comes down to the brook or whatever and is being a dick to Thomas.
She was the biggest horrific part of the movie, is that little ass.
I know. I'm like, what kind of demon spawn is this?
Those kids are shitty.
She was being a meanie. a fucking
big
mean,
meanie.
mean kid. And she's like, so Thomasin in defense is like, oh, I'm a witch. I'm the one who took Samuel, and I'll fuck you up too if you're gonna go tell mom and dad. And I felt like this whole situation was very true to reality in terms of how kids are.
I would have done that.
100%.
To shut her up. She was a brat, dude.
Oh yeah. And then she she threatens her. She's like, because she wants to scare her because she's mad, right? And Thomasin is also a fucking child. She's got to be what, like 16 max,
because she just weren't they saying she just became a woman?
Yeah, she just got her period.
So maybe like 13, 14, 15.
Yeah something somewhere in there, right? She's not like, she's definitely not 18, we can say that for sure. She's younger than 18. And so she is also a child who doesn't really have like great reasoning or conflict resolution stuff happening. So she's just like wants to scare Mercy. I love this part of it. But by doing that, she plants the seed that she is a witch. So later the kids, say, oh, she told me that she was a witch. And then she, in a panic, has to throw the blame off of herself. And also probably to some degree believes that the two younger kids are involved in witchcraft because they're the ones who chase around and hang out with Black Phillip all the time, right? The goat.
Yeah. And
say that he talks to them and they sing about Black Phillip and all of that. I love that part of it. I think that is like so... one of my favorite things is how you kind of take this thing that it's like a universal experience and we put it in a environment that is like super far removed, right? Like,
yeah.
This is, I don't know when this happened. Long fucking time ago. Pilgrim days.
It's like I believe the 1610.
Yeah.
No. The film takes place 1630.
1630. Okay.
Yeah.
Long time ago. But it's like,
it's really long.
But it's, what am I trying to say? You can relate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All of those dynamics. Yeah. I think so the first time I watched it, I wasn't sure how I felt. I'm going to be honest about the witches, especially when they were like flying. I wasn't sure how I felt about it. But then through the second watch where I could really focus, I thought to myself, you know what? I really do like this because the only time I've seen witches portrayed has been like in Hocus Pocus or in, some Disney cartoon, or it's always some type of fairy tale or something like that. Even like there's a TV show called Salem.
Oh yeah. I was just about to bring up Salem, dude.
But they're like witches more from a fantasy realm though, it seems to me. So I liked seeing if all these folklores, all of these like whispers of, ooh, the witch in the woods and stuff like that. If it was real, if they really did fly around and they really did do all of these things. That's what was portrayed. And so then I thought, you know what? I think that's actually really cool because I haven't seen that done before.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we don't often see witches portrayed as scary threats. They're usually like glamorized,
sexy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're like, it's like appealing. Like you're like, oh, I want to be a witch.
Just like after watching True Blood, I want to be a fucking vampire.
Yeah. Totally. But like, I like the idea of them being scary. And I actually feel like Salem, I didn't get very far into that series. I think I only watched like half of the first season or something. But I remember thinking, this is the best depiction of scary witches that I have ever seen. Like,
oh, really? I've only seen like one episode, so I couldn't say.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It gets fucking scary. It's like their power is and it's grotesque and there's like definite horror elements and stuff, like very scary. Again, I haven't watched that much of it, but I think that's one of the best ones to do it that way. And so I agree that this falls into that camp. Like these are scary witches. These are formidable foes. And they're out here doing real shit like fucking, what's it called when you use a pestle and mortar. I don't know, when they're out grinding up babies.
Yeah.
Dude, and I'm putting them on their body. That's fucked up. But I agree. I think this is one of the other things that I don't really like about this movie. Some of the scenes and imagery, like, really kind of border on comical. So, like, the flying sort of, I don't know, it just like takes me by surprise, and I can't help but kind of giggle at them because, like, they're so, like, just not what I expect. And I think part of why this is also, for me personally, is because this movie is so fucking far removed from my own day-to-day experience, you know, like setting, the way that they're talking, all of this is so far removed that now these things kind of become comical because it's like another layer on top of all of these outlandish things.
Yeah.
And again, this is just like a me personally thing. Like, I think that's why some of these things are funny. Like when I like them. It's not that I dislike them, but I agree with you. Like some of the stuff that I'm like,
the second time I liked that they flew because I looked at it like, I was thinking of it from this point of view. So all of this is real, like that Puritan family. And honestly, I don't even think they're the zealots. I think that whole community was, and they were just trying to follow God. That whole community was hellfire and brimstone. You better believe it. I wish I knew. I did try to look. Is there any like background to what the church leaders did? Because that's who they were mad about. They were mad about those leaders did something that was not considered Christ-like or within line of their Christian values. And so the dad me and my husband were having this whole conversation about it. You admire him for standing up because he's like, no, we came here. And I totally agree with this. And I'm not, you guys know I'm not hardcore religious anything, but if I'm Christian, then I think you should be Christ-like. As far as whatever it is, whatever your belief is, this is any religion, you should be following those beliefs. Or why are you saying you're that thing? So that's pretty much what he was saying. He's like, we came all the way over here to do God's work. And they're doing something. Who knows maybe they're screwing everyone's wives. Maybe who knows what they're doing? We don't know. And so he's like, no, I don't agree. And they're like, well, then, you better fucking shut your mouth and like us or you can leave. He's like, fine, I'll leave. And I kind of admired him for that. I mean, but then on the other hand, he is so prideful that he takes his whole family out into the wilderness to try to, like when is it? My husband and I were talking about when do you fully stand up for what you believe and do like what he did? And when, for the sake of your family, is it more selfish, honestly, to be doing that? Right. That's what I've been trying to say. It's more selfish. And I think that he's grappling with that as well. But all of those during that time, because everybody knows about the Salem witch trials, that's how they all were. If those people from town would have come to his house, like after that whole family was dead, there was no way she could go to them and tell them. They'd be like, you're the fucking witch. Like so I liked that. What had me reconcile, and then I will be off the soapbox, the flying. Because I would say that's the only part to me that when I saw them flying on their sticks, I was like, okay. But then the second time I liked it because this is what they were saying witches were doing.
Right. Yeah.
So when I was in college studying religious studies, I studied, they had a class called witchcraft. And in it, this was so fun. In it, she split the class into groups. And one group was witches, accused witches.
Got it.
And the other were the people accusing us. And pretty much what it showed at the end of all the groups presenting, if you were accused of witchcraft, you were done. There was literally nothing you could say because you were trying to say, no, but you know what? Jonathan over there saw me. So there's no way I could have been on my broom killing your kid. And they're like, Jonathan was bewitched by
right,
you.
yeah.
So there was no way around it. So we all know that story, and that's terrifying. And they
Yeah.
have that element in it, which is terrifying because you can see there's nothing Tomlinson can say. Nothing that's going to, you know what I mean? But then to find out that, yeah, all these things that the witches are doing, they're actually real, and they're a real threat and a real fear. And one of those things was flying on their sticks. That was something that they said they did back then. So they added that element to it. Okay, I'm done.
I had two things. Number one, and I'm going to try to say them so I don't forget, and you can help me keep them track. Mm-hmm. Number one, you just solved something for me that I'll get into.
Okay.
I already forgot number two. Okay. One of the things that I think I have always felt, especially the first time I watched this movie, and I think every time thereafter it's gotten less and less of a big deal, but the first time I watched this movie, I thought, why in the fuck? This seems like a weird choice. After all that's happened, now you're going to turn to Satan? Why? But I did not think about the fact that no matter what you did, even though there's no one to accuse you, you have like a stain on you now. So even though nobody can, account for what happened to you and your family, they're going to be suspicious of you no matter what. And that's why the best option is to turn to Satan. And I felt like, again, on this last watch, I finally started to feel like, well, she doesn't really have any options, but I didn't quite get that far on why. I just thought, again, on this last watch, I was like, if you can't beat him, join him. Fuck it. It was like, well, if everybody's going to think I'm a witch, I might as well fucking become one. Sign me up. Put me in your book. I don't know.
I literally wrote that in my notes. If you can't beat him, join him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's exactly it. There's literally her only option is to live in that hut by herself till she dies.
Yeah, which is not fucking happening because they don't have any food or whatever.
Yeah. If she wants to, maybe when she's older, go back and pretend she's somebody completely different. But they're going to probably think she's a witch because how did you find our community? I don't know. Yeah. You can't win. You totally can't win. And in the beginning, she says this, in the beginning when she's praying, she lists all the different things that she's been struggling with, which is her religion and thinking of sex and thinking all these different things. She says it like I could pull it up and find it, but she, I've done this, I've sinned in my mind, I've sinned in my word, I've, all of these different things. So that's already in her nature as far as, and when I say in her nature, like she's already kind of against this Puritan life that's being forced upon her.
But no, I don't know. I disagree with this because I think this is the religious zealot thing that is happening is like, there's this obvious teaching to these children that like, you're already sinners. You are already bad. You have to beg for forgiveness, basically, so that's why she and then Caleb later is like, I'm such a fucking sinner, they're so like Caleb is like racked with guilt.
Yes, I agree with you, but it didn't, and maybe not, but when I first saw her praying, it didn't seem like she was racked with guilt to me.
Oh,
she
really?
was praying because that's what she's supposed to do, just like you said.
I did not get that at all. I definitely thought there was this like, because you're right. I mean, I don't remember exactly what she says, but she is like, I've sinned in all ways in my mind. Like, please, whatever she says, like, please forgive me, please save me, whatever. But I took that as very authentic.
Okay. That was just like, yeah, it didn't seem to me that, and I have here, so it didn't seem to me that she was very racked with guilt about it, but she was praying because she was acknowledging that she has done all these things. I did see this thing in this little recap. So the main female character, Thomasin, harbors worldly desires that differ from those of her conventionally Christian family, yearning for independence, sexuality, acceptance, and power. So that's what she has inside her. But of course, she also has this. However, while her father and the Christian God failed to fulfill her needs, Satan instead speaks personally to her, offering her earthly satisfaction. So it's almost like she had that. I mean, when she's doing that thing, like, I'm the witch, I eat the babe, I sacrifice, and was like going really into it. Again, would have done that myself, but her like fervor, whatever, her fervor. There you go. When she was saying that in such detail too, he needed an uncircumcised babe, and I took Samuel and I'll eat you. And remember, she was like getting really into it.
I don't know. I don't remember anything about being uncircumcised.
He called for an uncircumcised babe, and I stole Samuel, and I brought him to the witch, and I signed the book, and like she was
Christ
into
alive.
it. She always seemed to. So can I? One thing that bothered me the first take and the second take, I kind of eased into it, was I thought the kids' acting wasn't great until
kids plural, all of them.
Tomlinson and Caleb. The other kids were just great brats. So those little kids were great brats. But the first take, there was like this reserved energy. I can't explain it. They're just, even when she's like sitting at the stream with him and she's like, Caleb, answer me.
Caleb.
It's so like, I don't know. It was bothering me. I was like, I don't really like this acting there. Even when the little boy was yelling at his dad, is Samuel in heaven? Tell me, just tell me, and it wasn't like, tell me, like with this energy. And it was bothering me. And then when he was lost in the woods is when it really started. He started to get great. And then he just fucking skyrocketed. So then when I watched the second time, I did like them more. And why am I saying all this? What were we even talking about? I don't know. It's gone. But anyways, the first time I watched it, I thought they were really focused on their lines.
Oh,
because of that old English type of.
I mean, how could you fucking not be?
Yes. But the second time I watched it, I liked it more because I did feel like their acting got a lot better. The second half of the movie was phenomenal. And I don't know what point I was making with that, but I hope you enjoyed it.
I agree.
Oh, shit.
That on the second, I mean, I definitely think I don't think I've ever had a problem with the acting. But now that I've watched it like 4 fucking times, I'm like, man, the acting is on fucking point.
Yes.
Because taking into consideration that they had to speak in this old tongue, and they're able to get across the feeling that they need to get across.
Yes.
Amazing. But going back to that scene where Thomasin is she's like, I be the witch of the wood. I agree. This is maybe the highlight of her acting through the entire movie. I mean, she just does an amazing job, but I read that as coming from a place of anger rather than she already was evil in any sort of way. I don't think, in my personal opinion, I don't think that she even tangled with the devil or sin or anything until everybody was dead. And then it was like, I have no other option.
Oh, I totally agree. No. I wasn't saying she was evil. She most definitely did sin. All of them are sinners, right? In the eyes of all themselves. Of them. Even that little girl talking to the devil goat. You are now probably in a lot of trouble with God. If that's what you believe, because you're talking to the devil goat, right?
You wake up, you walk out the door, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you are in trouble. Yes, exactly. So no, I don't think she was evil. I don't think she was a witch. I don't think she was looking to be a witch. All I mean is that she was a rebel. She was not as bought into all of this. She wanted other things versus her family that was bought into it. For example, Caleb would have never said the things she said. pretending he was the witch and that he, you know what I mean? Like he was so like, these are my Bible verses. This is my thing. That's why I'm like, he was bought into it like his dad and his mom.
Yeah, but
100%.
He's so much younger than she is, you know? Like, I don't know if I agree with that with him at her age, you know? For sure, right now in the moment, he wouldn't have. But give him a few years, maybe.
Okay, how about this then? How about this? So the devil says, wouldst thou like the taste of butter? Would you like this? Or no, he's like, what do you want? What can you give me? Is her very first response.
No, I think she says, what do you want?
No, he says, what do you want? And she says something like, what would thou'st give me? And then he said, would you like the taste of butter? Would you like to live deliciously? Then she says, then she says, what do I have to give you? What do you want from me so that she can have those things?
Okay.
So I feel like, and I could totally be wrong, this was just the vibe I got from it, that not that she was evil. And honestly, I think she is almost most people. Even the mom was saying she wanted to go back to England because she didn't want to live this life. I think most people want these things, want to live better. And so, I mean, just because that was her immediate thing, she does want these things. Like she's not fully like her father. She's only doing because she is a kid and they are like that. Not that she doesn't not believe in God. I'm sure now that she's met the devil, she's probably thinks God is real, but,
right. Way less fun though. Way less fun.
But at the very first thing, he's like, what do you want? And she's like, what can you give me? Like, what are my options? And he mentions all these things and she's like, okay, but what do I have to give you? Just sign this book. Take off your dress.
Right. Which is that's a little bit of a fucking bait and switch devil. He's like, just sign the book. Well, hold on. What the fuck does that mean? Is that my soul? Is that my...
The mom almost signed the book. Actually, we don't even know if she did. Yeah, because all she wanted, see, the devil is tapping into what is your deepest desires. She wants her babies.
I got the impression that she did. She did end up signing it.
I think she did too. And the reason, and then I will let you say whatever you're going to say because I am talking too much.
No, you're not.
Okay. Let me get this. Okay. With the crow biting her breast, there is a thing called the witch's teat. Witches were believed to have a witch's teat, a special nipple or blemish with which they nursed their familiars and fed them blood. And this is referred to with the crow as like familiar. So I read it as well that she did sign the book because the book itself. So in Puritan theology, a person recorded a covenant with the devil by signing or making their mark in the devil's book with pen and ink or with blood. Only with such signing, according to the beliefs of the time, did a person actually become a witch or gain demonic powers, such as appearing in spectral form to do harm to others. So since she was nursing a familiar, I think that she did sign the book and she signed that covenant and was a witch. She's probably fighting against that though, you know, at the end or she just was lost her mind. But anyway.
Yeah. Or, you know, there's like, I feel like once night takes over, there's kind of this different vibe happening, you know? So once the sun is up and she wakes up, I feel like she almost doesn't remember what happened at night. And
how about when her husband climbed over her and her eyes just popped open, like wide awake and freaky?
Well, and this is contrary to what I just said, but she does like shove Thomason up against the wall and says like, she says something that she wouldn't have known. What was it? It was that you like seduced your brother. You know,
giving him glances.
And that like any whore, and your father too, which I felt like she can't know that. I mean, unless she was just like really grasping at straws or something, but she can't know that without being in Caleb's head. And the only way that she could have known that, I think, is from the devil like implanting maybe some of those, you know, thoughts or feelings from Caleb's mind into hers. But I don't know. She acts like nothing had happened, even though I do think she got in the middle of the night.
I think she got, and I feel like she might know and is riddled with guilt and fear and anxiety.
Oh, totally possible. Yeah.
Yeah. And is grasping.
It's this blame game. Like, I'm going to take the heat off myself and throw it onto somebody else, you know?
Yeah. Like, no, that didn't happen. I wouldn't do that. There's no way I would fucking do that. It's you. You're making me think I did it, or, you know, and like, yeah, exactly what you're saying.
And they're also, I mean, like, I don't know, I'm really reaching a little bit here with this. Maybe I'm not really reaching, but I do feel like there's this competition, right? With Thomasin being the oldest female in the family, there's this competitive nature maybe between the mother of the household and Thomasin. And she immediately fucking doesn't believe her, hates her, thinks that she's lying, wants her gone, you know? Like, I want Thomasin out of this fucking house.
Yeah, I thought on my second watch that maybe it didn't start out that way, though, because when there's not much interaction, of course, we get kicked off right in the beginning, which just to say, I'm glad it was a real witch, because I loved that scene with the peekaboo. How creepy that the baby peekaboo, and then Thomasin's face, all we see is her face, and then she has peekaboo, and how it gets all serious, and you're like, oh shit, what? And the baby is gone. But when the mom calls Thomasin and hands her Samuel, she's smiling. It's loving. She has a smile. She hands her the baby. I feel like as the baby was gone, that's what she blamed Thomasin for, the baby missing. And now has this like anger towards her.
Yeah. That is, true. Like, what maybe sowed the first, you know, seed of discord between them.
And Thomasin is like literally, she's not, but in her mom's eyes, picking off one by one all her men.
Children.
All her men. She doesn't seem to really care about Mercy.
Well, but
I'm just kidding.
You're right. And this is one of the things that I picked up on, though, is because the two youngest boys, I think, are not baptized. I think they mentioned that, right? So it's Samuel because he's a baby. And it's Caleb, right, who's obviously worried about it because he's like, I'm not baptized. What am I going to, if I die this day, will I go to heaven or hell? But then Mercy and Jonas, we don't really ever get like a solid answer. I just assumed that they were baptized. And you kind of get the sense that Thomasin is baptized also.
Yeah.
So it does look like she's picking off the men, you know, at least for the first couple. And then, but her father always seems to side with her. You know, I feel like from a realistic perspective, he's being realistic. He knows that on some level, at least for a long time, that the kids are just being kids and they're just accusing each other because they're being kids and they're like mad or they don't know what to do. They're scared or whatever. And I could see how then from her perspective, right, the mom's perspective, oh, you're evil. You're taking them all out. You're, you know, again, it's this competition. It's me versus you.
Yeah. Seducing my husband because he's siding with you.
Yeah.
Constantly. I thought he did such an amazing job because he is trying to like figure it out, but you can also see he's terrified.
Yeah. There's this like warmth too with him and his kids and the wife, everybody. Like you can tell that he really cares about his family.
The whole family. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of trivia. Eggers, the director and writer, who was born in New Hampshire, was inspired to write the film by his childhood fascination with witches and frequent visits to Plymouth Plantation as a schoolboy. One cool, interesting thing that I saw a couple people mention is that the corn is rotting, right? And can be seen with signs of ergot, if I'm saying it correctly, which is a hallucinogenic fungus that may attribute to real life stories of possession and witchcraft.
What? Okay, now this is this whole new dimension to this movie.
So if this, if people were having issues with corn and you notice they were still eating it, they were trying to, there's a scene where they're scraping the corn cobs
Yeah.
into yeah. So if they're still like trying, of course, we all would do that. Try to get the pieces that aren't rotten. I mean, you got
Right.
to eat that's a hallucinogenic fungus.
Oh
So
my
people say
God.
in real life that could have contributed to some people, thinking that they were possessed or that other people were possessed because they would act like that. If you think about it, if you were hallucinating and you didn't know you were hallucinating or that you took something to hallucinate.
Dude, straight up, if that is what this movie was, right? Which I don't know if that's what the intention was, but if that is what it is that they're all hallucinating, I would like this movie a lot
That
more.
would be pretty badass. I have to admit.
Again, because I think just personally, there's this idea of like, I don't want it to be, just as a storytelling element, like I don't want it to be real. I don't want the devil to be real. I don't want these witches to be real. And I think that's one of my problems is, up until this last rewatch, I never took the things that were happening literally, which sounds dumb. But like when Caleb stumbles across that witch in the woods, again, I kind of didn't take it literally. I was like, okay, this is an allegory for something, or I don't know. Like, I just couldn't take it at face value because I didn't want to, I think. And so it's either you take this movie at face value and there is evil and there's the devil and there's witches, or you don't. And maybe it's fucking fungus. And I'm here for that. I'm here for that story.
Yeah. They don't say either way. And I read through this article where they asked the director straight up about some things and they didn't ask him about the corn. Oh, wait, actually, I take that back. Sorry. They did ask him about the corn. So they asked the director, I'm curious whether you have set ideas, what's real in the movie and what isn't. And in other words, who's possessed and who might just be going crazy. And he goes, I have very clear ideas about this, but I have intentionally tried to keep some mystery and enigma around that stuff. So I won't share my opinions on it. It was designed with intentions, but also designed to be read in multiple different ways. And so then the interviewer says, so you won't tell us whether Tomlinson was evil all along or only becomes desperate at the end becomes desperate at the end. And he says, no offense, if that was anyone's reading, but for people who think Tomlinson was evil all along, once upon a time there was a story of a witch. That's the movie, and that's not a very interesting story. So I will say that much.
Dude.
So from that, I got that Tomlinson wasn't like evil the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Then he says, but there are clues about different interpretations all throughout the movie. So for example, the rod of the corn is ergot, which is a hallucinogenic fungus. So if you wanted to take that route, you could. It's not necessarily my route. I'm not saying, but there are multiple ways in which you could take this movie. That's pretty cool.
I like that.
It's almost like a choose your own adventure book, depending on how you read the clues.
Yeah.
So he also says that there are multiple clues throughout. And I Googled and Googled and I wasn't finding anything. So if anybody can find it, I would love to know. He said, okay. Director Robert Eggers has spoken about a few small hints he and the filmmakers left throughout the film that one might interpret as reasonings behind the events beyond the obvious supernatural. But the only one I found was people talking about the corn. I really want to know what the other things are. Yeah. Clues, what the other clues are besides the corn.
This is way more interesting to me. Mm-hmm. This theory,
I agree with you.
Changes the whole tone of the movie and what happens. Because
maybe that's why she was flying. Maybe that's why they killed each other. Dude, maybe she killed those kids. Maybe, who knows? Like if they were all...
where did they go, dude? That's one of the questions I have. Where did they go? They're gone. I mean, you can kind of just assume that the witches took them, Mercy and Jonas. But
yeah.
They gone.
But nobody even went in the barn to look around.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of hay in there.
Their bodies could be in there for all we know. We don't know.
Yeah, nobody went in there.
But they seem like they're totally gone.
They
like,
do seem totally gone.
What the fuck? Where did they go? I went back and watched a second time specifically because of this. Because I was like, did I miss it? Where did they go?
Did they even exist?
Oh, shit.
Or were they hallucinations?
Yeah.
They don't really ever, they just run around and be obnoxious and not, I mean, Samuel is coveted. Caleb is coveted. Thomason has a huge part.
Yeah. But these two kids, their role is to be obnoxious.
That's
I like
fun.
that. Dude.
I like that too.
Because I do feel like shit just starts getting crazy, right? People are fucking hallucinating shit. Weird shit is happening. Again, the shit with Caleb in the woods seems just like kind of off the wall. Who's this young witch? I mean, theoretically, it could be one of these old witches who, ground up the baby and put it on herself. But why is she old the next night? I don't know. There's like so many questions. I have so many fucking questions about this movie that I'm going to hit you with. At least some of them.
Oh, but you know what I thought about those, the witch? Because I wondered too, I was like, oh, is that a spell to make herself young again? But then I had read that actually witches were accused of creating this mixture of blood and putting it all over their bodies and their sticks that was to help them fly. So maybe that woman was just another witch, because there was a lot of witches.
Yeah, we don't, but you don't know until the very, very end.
Yeah, true. You think she has she did a young spell on herself. Sorry, go ahead.
Or it was I assumed it was the baby blood that made her young.
That's what I was thinking too. So the rendered fat of an unbaptized male baby is an ingredient in witches' flying ointment, along with poisonous and hallucinogenic herbs such as belladonna, hemlock, nightshade, and wolfsbane. Supposedly, a witch would rub this flying ointment on herself and her broom in order to fly. So baby Sam was taken in order to make this ointment.
Gotcha.
According to the Christian pamphlets of witchcraft.
Of that time.
That time, yes.
Just, I think a great choice. Again, I think it's really interesting to take that and put it in the time that it was.
Oh, so really at the end of the movie, they say this, but I read it again. Actually, the majority of the verbiage used and the things used, like this witch's ointment, whatever it was from actual pamphlets and journals and court records of the time.
Crazy.
So they said a lot of this, what the characters say in the movie, actual people said in their journals or in court records or whatever it was.
Crazy. I think it really is a testament to the script writing that you can take something like that and then put it in a script and then have somebody say those lines and not have it feel super dumb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really isn't bad. I feel like it's well done overall. There are some moments that I'm like, I just don't understand, or it's taken me several times to understand. But overall, it feels right.
Yeah, because it was real language.
Yeah. But to find actors who can do that, I mean,
and those kids do,
Caleb especially.
Caleb.
I mean, Anya Taylor-Joy did a great job.
Oh yeah.
Caleb did whatever his actual name is. A fantastic fucking job. Especially, my favorite part of this movie has always been, my favorite scene, I should say. My favorite scene of the movie has always been his fit, where he comes back and he starts to, just mumble.
That whole monologue
of
seeing Jesus and holy moly.
So good.
Yeah, this little boy in this pretty much like another language.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I was blown away.
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, I keep interrupting you. So,
but yeah, it's like so believable. And he delivers it with such, I don't know, emotion. It's really fantastically done. There's moments where you're like, you know, like kind of where he's really getting into it and he's like, you know, kind of like hugging himself and he's like, thine embrace, thy lips upon my lips, whatever he says.
Yes.
That you're so close to being like, is this funny? Is this funny? I don't know. But I really think he pulls it off. Like every time I've watched it, there's this tension. I mean, you're scared watching it. You're like, oh no, this boy is fucking possessed. And I think that's like the peak of acting in the movie. Like he does such a good fucking job.
I agree. I was just watching this little boy thinking, holy shit, this is just a little boy, like with this old English script, this long ass monologue. They said that this particular scene, they were the most scared. The whole crew and actors were scared to film because it was an 11-page scene. And that actually Eggers was struggling with directing.
I was thinking,
Henry,
how would you direct this?
Yeah. So I think his name was Innes, Ines, I believe, but he actually brought in someone else to direct Caleb, because he was like a child acting coach and had directed a lot of children. So he worked with Henry to, help him during this scene because Eggers wasn't like getting through to the boys. What he said, he wasn't good at directing children.
Interesting. That's a really neat note, I think, because I think it's really important to recognize when there's something that you don't know how to do and somebody else can do it better.
Yeah.
And bringing them in to help you with it to get the best final result, I think is really a good thing to do. So that's really cool to hear that he wasn't like so, egotistical that he was like, I'm going to, see this through, but he brought somebody else in. But there's so many like layered emotions, right? There's like fear of what's happening to him. There is also go ahead.
I was going to say ecstasy at the top.
Yeah. What we talked about a little bit in the last episode with martyrs, there's this religious ecstasy. And how do you have a child get that across? I would have no fucking idea where to begin, but they did it.
Yeah, they did.
They really nailed it.
Something that I totally agree. In this scene, so I have Caleb's death scene and Jonas and Mercy's behavior during it is based on on trial records from the Salem witch trials.
Oh, shit. They also, this part of them where they're like repeating what he's saying and they're like writhing around. It's one of those moments where you're like, would I smack the shit out of these children? Or would I get the fuck out of the house because I'm so scared that they're actual witches,
Yeah, because even as a viewer, I don't know if you experienced this. I'm assuming you did based off what you just said. I was like, those fucking little bastards. And then they were like laying silent. And I'm like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
Maybe the witches are messing with them because they're laying still. These kids are go, go, go the whole movie. And now they've been laying still for quite a while. But then you realize they're fucking around. You're like, bastards. But you don't fully realize it. You just do for a second because the dad picks him up and he screams. And she's like, do you see now? But maybe not. You don't really know.
Yeah, you don't. And you would be scared in this situation. You've had one child taken completely from you. A second child comes back totally fucked up, just died right in front of your fucking eyes. Like, there's no, like, all bets are off. You don't know what the fuck is going on.
And think about it. This family, what do they have to eat but that hallucinogenic corn? Some eggs, maybe. We don't know because the eggs she got, there's that nasty dead bird in it. Maybe some milk. Not when it started bleeding milk, but they're not eating their animals. They're not catching animals.
Yeah, they can't catch anything.
So this is what they're eating every day and night.
It's a great point. You don't ever see them eat anything, I feel like.
Yeah, just
there's
once.
Like one dinner. Yeah.
But they don't even barely eat. They eat some of that bread, but yeah.
Interesting.
I have an interesting little thing here. Black Phillip asks Thomason, wouldst thou like the taste of butter? In the 15th and 16th centuries, the Catholic Church declared eating butter was a bigger sin than lying, blasphemy, or impurity. The Protestant Reformation leader, Martin Luther, railed against this edict, which was often only enforced on the poor.
Mm.
I know what you're going to ask me. Why butter?
No, but go ahead. Answer that question.
Look like it. Oh wow, how butter fueled the Protestant Reform. That story about Martin Luther. Anybody, it's a really good story. But anyways,
you should link it in our Discord.
Okay. Oh, I'll link it in Discord. I'll link all of these things that I have. The interview, and I should have mentioned the interview with the director, which was done by Slate. I will link this about butter and the Reformation.
Okay.
But it looks like the tradition started with monks abstaining from eating any animal products on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays during Lent. Meat and dairy was believed to fuel lust. And so eventually the church extended the fast rules: no meat, no eggs, no butter, no animal fats. Oh, yes, you guys, in part of something I was researching for a paper when I was in college, it was so interesting. I read this old book about how this Catholic priest wrote out a whole list of what women should and shouldn't eat so that they were not lustful and desirable. And so that, I think, is why butter equals lust. It makes a woman wet.
Okay.
Meat and butter and animal fats. Seriously. There was a whole book
I believe you.
Talking about how you should control your food so you should be more masculine or appear more masculine, cut your hair, don't become wet, don't become lustful, so that you don't seduce men. That's what the book was about.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
Okay.
It's crazy stuff. But anyways, and if anybody, and I'll link it, wants to, I probably mentioned this before, but if anybody wants to read like real texts about the witch trials and what they looked for in witches and stuff, the Malleus Maleficarum, which was published by the Catholic Church, you can get that, and it's just a book. And I'll look up the Protestant Reform rules too, because I'm super interested to see what they said about witches and stuff. There's people out there that are interested. I know.
100%. Yes, 100%. Yes. This is interesting. I just can't get over this thought process. Like, butter and red meat, stay away from it or else it'll make you wet. I just, somehow I don't think that's true. I don't know.
They say chocolate's an aphrodisiac.
Yeah.
I don't think it's true either. No. I don't usually eat a steak and then I'm like super horny.
Like, oh my God, I must have sex right now.
Yeah. I put butter on my bread. I'm like, whew, I'm getting hot.
Compared to just dry ass bread. Like, you know what? Dry as the Sahara right now. Can't even.
Yeah. You know what? It sounds like the priests were doing that self-mortification and denial and what is it called? Asceticism, where they're starving themselves. They're doing all that shit. And they're like, well, fuck that. Everybody should.
Exactly.
And so then they just gave reasons why. Because they'll be like, well, you're a priest. You're supposed to do that. Well, you're not supposed to be lustful, bitch. Because so you shouldn't eat butter. Yes. Oh, okay. God.
I have a couple other questions.
Yeah, ask
you on the religious side of things. Okay, so I have two things. Number one might be like a religious thing. The other one might too, but I don't know. So we'll start with this one. Catherine says something to the effect of like, I have become as Job's wife. And I didn't know what that meant.
Yes. So Job's wife, this is a Bible story. And one thing I do see here is that Job's first wife, Sittis, her name may have had the same root as the word Satan in Hebrew. or unfaithful is what it means. And I have this little snippet here. Only rarely hears about the contribution of Job's nameless wife to the unusual question of the ways of God in the book of Job. She is also a victim of divine affliction, and it is she who opens the possibility of speaking against God. Job's wife characterizes her husband's unconditional devotion to God as an act of cowardice. Oh, that makes sense. This makes total sense within the movie.
Yeah.
Because that is her husband. His like, just believe that God will take care of it. And she's sitting here. This is right in that monologue where she's saying, I had that experience of God when I was Thomason's age, that it was so amazing. And now I can't feel him. And she's talking like her whole faith is shaken since Samuel was gone.
Yeah. And she's like, I may never get there again. I fear
I may
never
feel love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On that level again. Okay. The second thing is the silver cup. I know that this is probably in there because it cost a lot of money, right? And how he sells the cup for money and pelts and, traps and whatever. But I couldn't help but feel like, is there also a religious context to a silver cup?
There's a whole thing, Benjamin and the Silver Goblet. It's like there's a little children's book about it. The silver goblet was found in Benjamin's bag. All the brothers were arrested, including Benjamin, and taken back to the city. When they returned to the city and were taken before the governor, Joseph told them they could all return home, all of them, except the one who had the silver goblet. So maybe another thing, religious with the silver chalice, because I believe he calls it that. The husband calls it that at one point too, when he's like kind of throwing it in her face when they're in bed. Remember? And you take the Eucharist out of a silver cup like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the blood of Christ you take from a silver cup. Now it was her father's, and I didn't know there was this underlining. They didn't really go into it, but it made me feel like she came from a very religious home, and there was something about her father, and she loved that community that they were in and like wanted to go back. And it didn't seem like she had problems with that community. It could also be just the fact that maybe her father was religious, but it was valuable, and that's how they traded. But definitely when I saw that, especially when I saw it in the movie, to me, it looked like the cup that you drink the blood of Christ in during the Eucharist.
That would make a lot of sense, I think, just on a, metaphor, is that the right word? Level, but that they've given it away in exchange for being able to make it on their own, right? Which is like entirely what he's done. He's taken them out of this community. He's taken away the ability to baptize them, because they mention right later, they cannot baptize the children on their own. They have to do it within the, context of the church itself or the congregation. So they can't really do that shit on their own. And so he's taken away that ability, just like they've taken away the ability to drink from that cup, maybe, again, I'm reaching a little bit, but maybe it's like a metaphor here for the closeness to Christ in exchange for, going off on their own.
Yeah.
And it's brought up so many times. That's why I was like, there has to be something here other than the fact that it's expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that's really great insight. It makes me wonder, it's so hard because he left because the people, whatever they were doing, were not following the word of the Lord.
This was my second point earlier that I forgot.
Nice.
30 fucking minutes ago.
Nice.
This scene is so fast, and I don't understand what the fuck anybody's saying in this movie. So I could be off. But the impression I got was that William, the father, was going around like saying stuff about the way that he sees God and how it was like a little bit more extreme than what these people thought. And they were like, get in line, buddy. He was like, no, I'm not gonna. shut up about this. And they were like, fine, you can leave. That was the impression I got. So it wasn't like, I didn't get at all that like the leaders or whatever of this community were doing something that he didn't want to. I got the opposite impression that this guy was out here just being a fucking loudmouth about whatever he thought everybody should be doing religiously. And they were like, bro, keep it down. And he was like, no, I'm not doing it. They were like, okay, well, you can leave. He was like, bye.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't read it fully that way because he was saying, but now that I think about it, maybe he was, well, it's really hard. Okay. So this is because we don't know.
I know.
We don't know what happened.
We need like a line by line. Yeah.
Okay. Hold on one second.
Pull up the script.
Yep. Because what I read was that why did we come out here but to spread the word of the Lord, which is why they went out there. They weren't like going out there to find land. These Puritans went out there to spread the word of the Lord. That's what they did. They were missionaries.
Okay.
Sorry.
This is my dumbass. Like, I don't know shit about history at all. So don't judge me when I say this. But I thought the reason why people fled England is because they wanted to explore other religions like freely. Like they were like, we want to be whatever the fuck we want to be.
I love that you said that.
We're going to flee out from underneath your thumb, basically. So it wasn't about like, let's go make other people believe what we believe. It was just like, let's just go somewhere else and do our own fucking thing.
So a mixture of both. They did not want to be under the religion of the British rule. You're right. There was there was a lot of going on in there that I totally won't get into all of that.
I'm sure this is very nuanced.
Just like Martin Luther. So the Catholic Church was saying like, you can pay to have your sins removed so you can go to heaven, or you can pay us and your relatives will get out of hell and go to heaven.
Right.
And Martin Luther is just one of many, but Martin Luther was like, that's fucking bullshit, which I agree. Or the butter thing, like, fuck you, we can have butter. Right. Lots of things. He did the famous nailing what he thought like hit on the door of the church, and like there was a whole bunch of shit, and then he like they left. Right. And to start a schism of Christianity. So, we have tons of them. We have Protestant, right, Catholics, tons of different Christian sects, and they're all, there's could be one small thing. Like Protestants and Catholics were killing each other in the time of like all the Queen Elizabeth and all of that over, is Christ truly during the Eucharist, is the Eucharist truly the real blood and body of Christ, or is it a symbol?
What?
This was the Protestants thought it was symbolic, and Catholics to this day think it's actually the blood and body of Christ when you take the Eucharist. This is what they're killing each other over.
Oh, spoiler alert. It's fucking symbolic. Okay. I mean, how much body of Christ do we need to be able to give everybody in the world
but if it's Christ's spirit in it, is it not the body of Christ? Okay, so right. So they go back and forth. So this is just another schism. Lutheranism from Martin Luther is just, I don't agree with this. He was Catholic, but I don't agree with this. So now there's a religion, a schism of Catholicism, which is also a Christian religion, that removes the stuff they don't believe from that religion, and now it's a new religion. And so that's all the different breakdowns of that. But so these people, the core of all of them, though, of all Christian religions, the core of what you should be doing as a Christian is spreading the word of Christ.
Okay.
So all of them, that's what they should be doing.
Okay.
So like that's the core of your being, what you should be doing.
Side note, sorry if I offended anybody with my comment about the...
No, that was fun because that was literally what people were like, no, it's symbolic. And then somebody else will go, well, what about this? And you're like, well, shit. No, I believe it's symbolic.
So I mean, you can believe whatever you want to believe. Listen,
it's conversation.
Whatever.
No, I thought it was a great conversation. Obviously, I'm digging it. But So anyways, to answer that question, that would be especially these Christians, these Puritans, right? They have a way of life. Their whole way of life is around the Lord. Being modest in dress, modest in eat, modest in speak. I believe this Christian group as well, or a lot of them actually that came over into the Americas in the beginning, also had that you hear of like the Protestants, the Protestant work ethic, and you'll go into some of those churches and they dislike the Catholic Church because of how ornate it is. So if you go into a Protestant church, it's more plain. So there's all of these different things, but their whole dress and their way of life all revolved around their religion, all of it. So when I read it, and I do have the script here, so we can read it actually. Well, when he was talking, and maybe it was just my lens of, oh, this guy's a rebel. This guy's calling them out because they're not fucking actually living a Christian life. And he's like, this is bullshit.
But that makes total sense, dude. Like from your lens, the fact that you came from England to the Americas, the seed planted there was, I'm going to spread the word of God, right? That changes the lens in which you read that scene through. Whereas I came from the opposite end where I was like, aren't you here to just like live your life? And now you can't even live your life within the context of these people who are just living their life. Like you must be a zealot, you know?
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. Everything. That's why they're buttoned up to their neck, the women, so they're not indecent.
Okay.
So here I have this script.
Can't be showing that top chest.
Nope.
You fuck up your little brother.
Just wait several years. And then all you're doing is wearing dresses that accentuate your ass and your cleavage.
Right. Yes.
What were they watching? Where they were just like everything was cinched and they were,
The Great, probably.
The Great and the Witch.
Yeah.
Actually.
There's a lot of corsetting for sure.
Okay, so this is what William says. What we went out into this wilderness to find, leaving our country, kindred, our father's houses. We have traveled a vast ocean for what? Then the government, I'm also tainted. I'm thinking, oh, it's the governor. That fool is fucking corrupt. The governor said, we must ask thee to be silent. And so then William says, was it not for the pure and faithful dispensation of the gospels and the kingdom of God? And then the government is yelling, no more. And then the minister says, we are your judges and not you ours.
Right.
See, that made me feel like, I don't know that, but again, I'm tainted probably. And
it's the opposite for me. I was like, yeah, for him to be so outspoken as a like citizen of this, community.
Shouldn't we be outspoken as citizens?
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying in the realm of God itself, right? Because this is what they're talking about. Is religion. He's talking about that specifically. It's like, okay, bro. They're like, you're freaking everybody out. Please leave.
I cannot be judged by false, contented Christians under an unseparated church, an English King's church. I feel like that's really loaded and I don't fully understand it.
Yeah, let's pass over that.
Yeah, I might need to. I'll link the script, by the way, in our Discord if you want to take a look. And then the governor says, must you continue to dishonor the laws of the Commonwealth and the church with your prideful conceit?
So this is what made me feel like he's out here doing some shit against the law of the Commonwealth, which is just the people in the community, right?
Yeah, that's their community, right? And the church. But then he's saying an English King's church. So he is specifically, so maybe he is a part of the group that he was under the impression they were getting away from the English King's church, like we just talked about.
Yeah.
Like he's getting away. He wants to be the part of the new Christian beliefs that's away from the English King's Church. That's why we came here, to escape that.
Right.
Now it sounds like they're instilling that the English King's Church in their rulings. And he's like, what the fuck? So William says, if my conscience sees fit, and they're like, okay, peace out. And he's like, peace.
Yeah. That's exactly what they said, even.
Yeah, that's exactly what they said. It got really great there. He was like, deuces, threw up a peace sign. And the family was like, oh, shit. Well,
Good
actually,
riddance.
Tomlinson was the only one that was, the mom was like, she seemed a little nervous, but she's like, that's my husband. I'm going to follow because that's what you do when you are a good Christian woman back in the day.
Uh-huh.
Back in the day. And then Tomlinson's like, wait, what the fuck?
No, I did notice that hesitation. It's very slight. But Caleb hangs back and he's like, Thomason, come.
She's like, oh, I don't want to go out there with my family.
And she was right.
I'd be hooking up with this boy that no one knows about. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'd be like, what they were like, we're going to leave her with the Whitlings or the.
And she looked so sad. I might be like, okay, let me go back to the.
I honestly was like, please.
Let me live with the Whitlings.
I don't give a shit. Give me those people. We can't even eat any food. All right.
Yeah, if I have to do chores all day long and have my mother bellowing at me to take care of these fucking bastard children, then my dad falls in mud and I'm being bellowed out to fucking clean his clothes and I'm being constantly just screamed at, I might as well like eat butter and live in a house.
100%. Let me serve some other family. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Yes. My family is terrible.
This scene was good too. The one that you're talking about where he comes back and he slips in the mud. And there's like this whole conversation about, you know, they're trying to get the kids to be quiet. And then as soon as Thomason is like, be quiet, they're like, Thomason, shut the fuck up. Like basically, I was like, come on. I was like mad about it. I was like, give Thomason a fucking break. Okay, she's out here trying to help. Fuck you.
I know. I felt so bad for her. Maybe I'd be like, fuck it, I'll be a witch.
I mean,
want to go back to that community and get a bunch of other fucking people that make me like how after how hard everything is, the dad's like, okay, we're having like a rough time. We'll all fast tomorrow. Right. That's the answer. That's going to make me happy.
Yeah, totally. You're like, criticism or butter? I think I'll take the fucking butter. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Did you say a nice dress?
A pretty dress? Okay. No contest.
Deliciously? I like the sound of that. I like it now. I want to live deliciously.
You know what? No, never mind. I'd rather be cold than hungry. Thanks.
Oh, God. Okay, so the spelling, because I did Google this because I wanted to know why it was spelled VVITCH in the title. So the title, The Witch, how it's spelled, is how the word was written in the story's period because the letter W was not yet common use at the time. And in old journals and pamphlets and things like that they got all of this from, witch was spelled VVITCH.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. The movie was also only shot in 25 days. And they used mostly just available natural light.
Dude,
I'm digging this.
The low budget nature of this movie is incredible.
I love it.
I mean, they really do some fucking trickery. I noticed that on this last watch is they do a lot of cutting away, you know, so that you're not, but you don't really because it's masterfully done.
Yeah.
It's one of the best, I think, examples of like, you're not seeing the action a lot of the time. No, I do feel like they did an amazing job with the limited budget that they had overall through all of it. I mean, the acting, the casting, the sound design is amazing. This is another thing that we just talked about.
I paid attention to it.
I was wondering,
yes.
Did you pay attention this time?
Yeah, I paid attention. I was like listening. I'm like, is there any noises that are screechy? Is there I was paying attention because I never do.
That whole like motif that they use like a couple times, they're like, like it's just
so well done.
That sounds stupid, me doing it by myself, but like in the movie, it is so unsettling, you know?
Yeah.
I loved it. And the fucking voice of the devil. I can't remember if I already mentioned this, but Jesus fucking Christ.
He had a great voice.
So good. So ominous, so scary. Top notch.
Yeah, a little like, I'll take your butter. Just a little bit. Oh, Lord.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
I'm sorry. What did you say you have for me? A pretty dress. Okay.
Oh, God. I'm sorry. Yep. I have not drank since I've had COVID. So this is making my cheeks hot. Not steak. Whiskey. Whiskey is what makes me wet. Whiskey is what makes me wet. Okay. It seems kind of random, but when you see the picture, you're going to get all the feels. So there is a clear callback in the art piece Angelus from Jean-Francois Millet in the burial scene. There is no confirmation or mention to this homage from the director in his own words, but it's very, very, very close. So I will link that in our Discord. I Googled it and saw it, and the burial scene of when you're far away and you see the tree, and the mom and dad are burying Caleb. Oh my gosh, this painting by Millet looks exactly like that scene. It was like, whoa, this is gorgeous. So I'll link that.
Okay. I'm excited to see that. I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about a couple things that I didn't love that felt like weirdly comical.
Okay.
And this is one of those times is when you're on this wide shot, right? And the mom crawls into the grave. You're like, I don't know. For me, it's never been creepy or scary. And then you're like, what is she doing? What are they doing? Is she about to be buried alive in this hole? And then you cut to a shot of her in the hole holding on to his body, which I think could have been very powerful had she not been looking up at her husband in a very cold way. Like, all of this felt weirdly comical to me. If she had been like in the hole and like sobbing at his body, like that would have been a different story. But I just was like, this whole scene is very odd to me. Did you feel that way too?
I didn't, only because I see what you're saying though. Like when she was looking up at him, God, I felt really, I feel emotional now. She lost her baby, how she lost her boy. They're like losing your children, and like she didn't want to let him go. Like she just didn't want to let him go. But then when you mentioned she being buried alive, I felt that for a moment when she was looking at him, like, just kill me. Just bury me here with my baby.
Interesting. Okay. I've never thought it from that perspective. I think that makes a lot more sense. I wish she wouldn't have been looking back at him, because I think that moment is not between them. It's about, the bleak. Yeah, like whatever put me under, but it doesn't have anything to do with maybe him, or the look needed to be different. It's just not, I don't know. Something about that scene doesn't hit right for me. Because she just looks at him so indifferently. Not indifferent in the way that I want it to be. Because she's mad at him or she's pleading. You know, like she's either mad at him, like this is all your fault, or like, please, for the love of God, put me out of my misery. And I don't get either of those.
Yeah. You know what? It would have been really powerful if she randomly got down. Because I liked that scene when we were far out and all of a sudden she gets into the grave and you're like, what's going on? If when she was in the grave, she was maybe lying, like she had her head on him, like she was, that would have been so sad to see. Like, you're right. That would have been more powerful.
Because it's so focused on him and her in the grave.
And the loss.
I don't want to live. I don't know. There's something about this scene that just doesn't hit for me the way that I think that they intended. This is really nitpicky. Again, like these things that I'm saying are really nitpicky. But the other thing that I find fucking weird and comical is the fact that the day, I'm just jumping all over the place, the day that William wakes up, right? And he walks out of the house and he gets gored by the goat.
Yeah.
So many problems with this. Number one, how the fuck did this goat gore him? The angle of these hoofs, or these, not hoofs, horns, are such that this goat would have had to, like, gore him at such an angle that I just don't buy. But, okay, sure, he gets, hit in the stomach, in the torso somewhere. So now he's, like, bleeding out, right? How long does it take you to bleed out? Let's just say minimum 20 minutes, okay? That's a small amount of time, minimum 20 minutes. Now he falls back into a pile of logs that fall over him, and he's, like, dead cold, like, dead, completely gone.
Oh, I see. No, didn't it gore him again?
No.
Isn't that how he fell into the logs? Was the goat came back? Yeah,
but the goat didn't, the second time that he hit him, for sure he didn't, like, puncture him at all.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
that's true.
Maybe there's, like, internal bleeding or something, but you don't die that fast. You don't die in seconds.
Okay. No. That's true. I wonder if, so that's another thing. Maybe the piece of wood rendered him unconscious. No one checked him because Thomason was going to check him.
That's right. Yeah. And gets intercepted.
Yeah. So, however, I'm reaching because I did feel the intent was that he was dead.
He gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm literally just trying to save the experience and say maybe he was unconscious because no one checked him. But I think the intent was for us to believe that he was dead.
I have a hard time with that, I liked the idea of it, but it was like,
can you not die if you have, like, if you're shot in the stomach? You don't die pretty quick, or
I don't think it's that fast.
It was very quick. You're right. He was bleeding and like, bleh, but then the thing hit him again. They don't show it, right? You just get the idea because he dropped it and he's like, you're corrupted, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I wish, I actually don't remember if he fell into it himself or if he gets hit again into the pile of wood. But even the worst case scenario, if he got hit again, it's not like, if you get hit in the stomach, anywhere in the torso, I think, like, your guts, your stomach, your intestine, you have some time. You maybe don't have, like, a ton of time. Please, if you're a medical professional, let us know, because I'm obviously not one. But I definitely don't think it's a matter of minutes. Like, you have, like, again, 20 minutes, maybe.
Maybe he wasn't dead. Maybe he was unconscious. He had the air knocked out of him. The wood crashed down on his head. And he was unconscious, but nobody checked on him. And then they fought. And then he was definitely dead. Okay. Or maybe the wood broke his neck. Falling down on him. But then if no one checked him, then he's dead,
Yeah. I mean,
no one checked the barn to see if the kids were under the hay.
That's true. Those kids, they're just struggling to live. in the back corner of that barn.
Of the barn with the dead goats. Yeah. No one checks anything. I could say something that did bother me that was it's just irritating. And I hate when people do this. When they don't explain more. Like when they were accusing Tomlinson of being a witch, or even the dad,
yeah, totally.
or even the dad was at this point, the dad's screaming, "You're a witch, you're a witch." Cause I get in the beginning of the conversation, she's like, "I promised I wouldn't tell. I promised I wouldn't tell." Okay. But now your brother's there. Like, I'm sorry. I would be like, this is what fucking happened.
Yeah, me too.
And I would be spilling it. I was on the horse, it bugged me up. There was and he chased the rabbit. I said, no, don't chase the rabbit. And I would say the whole fucking thing. By the way, I saw this rabbit like 1,500 times, this fucking scary rabbit. And everything freaks out at the rabbit. The rabbit's the witch. I would be like, I would be regurgitating. All she says is, "I am not a witch, Father. Will you not hear me?" Like, come on. He fucking thinks you're a witch. Tell him the story. That drove me crazy.
That was very frustrating.
She said, "It was in jest. Why don't you say she was crawling through the motherfucking grass saying, 'I am the witch of the woods. I am the witch of the..." So I was like, "Shut up." She's like, "No, I won't shut up." She's being a little asshole. So I was like, "Guess what? I'm a witch and I'm going to fucking kill you." And just to scare her because she's being a jerk. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Like, I felt that way too, for sure. Like a bunch of times throughout the movie. It was like, yeah, with the dad too, you're like, "Hey, listen, I just fucking fucked around with my younger siblings. I'm not an actual witch." Okay.
It was a joke because she was saying she's a witch.
Yeah.
I was trying to scare her so she'd stop saying it. Like, explain yourself, for Christ's sake. It's your life's at risk.
Or even when, like you were saying, when they went out into the woods, it was like, Caleb and I went out to get food. Period. The end. We laid a trap. We were going to go get this bunny. Like, that's...
Yeah, she literally says, "I promised. Weren't you going to sell me?" Yeah. Okay. There's more to that fucking story, Tomlinson. You were going to sell me. So Caleb was like, "I don't want my sister to be sold." So he was going to go out and get the food from the traps. I didn't want him to go alone. So I went with him. Boom.
The end. Yeah.
Stephen King has stated that he was terrified by this film.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the director's directorial film debut.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. Because I know he's done The Lighthouse, right? Which I have not seen, but I've heard really good things.
There's one thing you didn't ask me about that I immediately was like, oh shit. So I had to Google, and it was the apple. This apple with one bite, just Snow White, is all I could think about when I saw the apple.
Yeah.
So I did some Googling on that and found that, well, first, apples are connected to witches because when you cut an apple in half widthwise, the pips or seeds form a star, a 5-pointed star, which I didn't know. But in a nutshell, these different fairy tales like Snow White and things like that were based on folk tales and lore of witches. So since I didn't know the lore of the witches, I've seen Snow White. I thought, oh, did he take this from Snow White? Is there like some type of fairy tale element to this movie? Because that was clearly Snow White. But actually, those pieces, like the witch in Snow White, was taken from the lore of witches, and witches often poisoned apples to kill people. According to people who wrote about these witches. Also, though, it got even deeper, associated to religion and Adam and Eve.
Right.
And the biting of the apple. So that is probably more where it was from, or maybe a little mixture of both. Because the hare is also considered magical creatures and associated with witches as well, that stole or spoiled milk from farm animals. So now is the moment of reckoning where we rate this movie. Tawny, what do you rate this movie?
I actually have, through our discussion, now I'm not sure where I land. I was going to say a 3.5.
Okay.
But if there's this corn element where everything is hallucinated,
it's all about the corn.
I think I'd bump it up to like a 4.
I think based how I'm interpreting, now I have to interpret the director's comments, that I feel like it was, I don't know if you were into this when I was young. I loved those follow your own adventure books.
Oh,
where
yeah.
it took you to a different part of the book. I feel like that's what he was doing. That's kind of what is insinuating, that he gave you multiple options for what's going on by the things that he planted in the movie.
Okay. So if I can choose my own adventure.
Choose your own adventure movie, dude.
And it doesn't have anything to do with maybe real devils or witches or something. Like I'm going to bump it up. I'm going to give it like a 4 at least. There's things that I don't love about this movie. And one of the things is, you mentioned this earlier, is like the aesthetic. Like I don't love the aesthetic. I think it's well done, but it's so drab and gray and just, from my personal opinion, boring. Like, ugh, I just hate looking at everything. And again, the plot until then now is like I had a problem with it. So I don't know. Should I just split the difference and go like 3.75?
What the difference of what? Oh, of the two scores you had?
Mm-hmm. I think this movie was a combo of things that really, kind of frustrate me. And mainly the frustration is not being able to understand what people are fucking saying.
Yeah, it's hard.
I mean, again, it's taken me like 4 watches to be like, okay, I kind of get it at least now. And even now I had to rewind several times and watch the scenes over and over again to kind of, okay, she said this, he said this. I can kind of get it. So I feel like I'm lost, as it's happening. I think something like Caveat, yeah, the visual style is a little cold, but there are breaks where you've got like this really red hallway. It feels very Silent Hill to me in moments, which I love. So that just, again, personally kind of touches my heart. And this is just cold, fucking puritanical pilgrim woods. And I'm like, none of that is for me. And I can't understand what people are saying. And I don't understand what's happening religiously because I don't know anything about that. So it's just not a movie, I think, made for me.
That's totally fair. So what is your score? That's totally fair.
It's been a long conversation. I think I'm going to land. I'm going to do a 3.75.
Okay, that's a great score.
And the only reason why I'm going to bump it up to that 0.75 is, in my mind now, the corn has been tainted and there's hallucinogenic effects happening. None of it is real. It's not literal. And maybe I'd even bump it up from there. I don't know. What's your score?
I feel pretty strongly I like it as much as Caveat. This whole time I knew it was going to be a 5 or a 4.9.
Okay.
Which is so silly. Like this is like a 0.1 difference. But this whole time I was like, it's either going to be above or equal to Caveat, not below. So next week, Tawny, what are we doing next week?
Next week, we're talking about The Silence of the Lambs with Seth from the Horror Movie Crew podcast.
Dude, we are so excited to get Seth alone. We were excited for Jess too. We've had Josh.
Yeah, a couple times.
We've had Josh a couple times.
Listen, it's not your turn anymore.
Everyone knows we love talking to Josh. It was so much fun getting Jess on our own, and now we get Seth. This is truly a wonderful birthday gift. Even though it's going to come out after our birthdays, it's a great birthday gift. And you want to engage with us. I know you do. So you can find everything on our website, twochicksandahorrorflick.com. You can also find all the links in Instagram. In our little link in bio has all the links as well. So please do join us on our Discord server. We're going to be posting all the different stuff we've said we're going to post. It's going to be a bunch of shit from this episode. And you have access to us to chat. We're like your new horror BFFs. So get in there. It's super fun. It's free. And we look forward to meeting you. And Tawny, what else?
If you want to support the show, you can go to our Patreon, or you can like and subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. And it also helps if you'd like us to share us with your friends. And that's it. So we hope you guys have such a good night. No nightmares.